rolling. All right, Ep.3 of the Catatonic podcast
Number 3.
with Marcus and George. All right, now, the first thing I want to ask you is, do you think climate change affects the workplace at all?
What do you mean it affects the workplace?
Like affects jobs, how jobs work?
I feel like for a standard 9 to 5, everyday people, it's not going to affect it as much. Like, just from personal experience working at Walmart. I mean, yeah, I'll be outside a lot, so it gets a little colder, a little warmer, but other than that, you don't really notice much of a difference unless there's like a fire outside your door. Like, especially in LA, all them fires going on over there. Like, yeah, obviously that affects it because it's dry, it's not humid, there's no moisture in the air, so everything catches real easy, and that the fire, it just made the fire spread and just like ruin people's lives, ruin people's jobs, homes, all that good stuff. So when taken to the extreme with like fires or extreme natural disasters, yeah, it'll affect your job, it'll affect your workplace, but other than that, just hotter or colder weather, I don't think it's gonna have that much more of an effect on like everyday people's lives,
Yeah. Now, what about if you were to go like farther up on the chain, right? Say if climate change got really bad, right? Stuff started going haywire. And say let's go into the fishing business, right? Say if some fish start going extinct, some species of fish start going extinct, right?
Yeah.
And these people are bringing in less fish, these fishermen, right? That causes people to get hungry, right?
Mhm.
There's less food in the supermarket. That's going to affect a lot of stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
Prices are going to go up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Prices are going to go up, especially if it's like a very common fish that maybe poorer households buy a lot, you know what I mean? That's going to affect their what they're used to. Actually, it might affect the cultures too, depending where it's at. Like,
Yeah.
If it's dependent food source, like if they're very dependent on a certain type of fish and a certain type of land, you know what I mean?
Certain type of food, like seafood, if they're like a coastal people.
Exactly.
They can't really afford to bring in outside food and stuff like that. Yeah.
And just going off that, man, just the entire stuff that's going on with the world, like why it's so cold over here right now, just like you explained to me the other day, what was it? Just like a giant gust of heat went up to the north and pushed all this cold air down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I seen was a lot of heat on the other side of the world. Say that this side of the world right here is the United States, this side is Europe. All the warm air over here pushed a bunch of cold air over the North Pole onto the US, and it got really, really cold for like 2 weeks.
And we had a pretty good little blizzard, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least for Delaware standards.
Yeah.
What was it, like 8 inches of snow?
Yeah, like 8 inches, man. It was crazy.
That never happens down here, so.
I was out there shoveling, man.
I know.
Crazy.
What was it, like 3 days in a row straight?
Yeah, it's 3 days, man. Did one day straight. It's like the next day, and then took a little break, and then the next day, and then the next day. That's crazy.
To kind of go into your original question, I feel like in that case, yeah, it would affect jobs a lot because like I know for like the first 2 days of that, my work just said you don't have to come in. We'll cancel the points and stuff. I still did because I like money, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there was just nothing to do, and it was kind of crazy to see, like, especially like when other places have this type of weather daily, and they adapt to it. But like when it comes down here, it's just like everything seizes up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I know for schools they were out for almost like just a week just because it was so cold and
whole week, man.
all that snow. When other places in the U.S., you know what I mean? Especially in Alaska, man.
Yeah.
Like that's just their everyday weather, and they just kind of adapt to it. That's just like normal for them.
It is crazy how it is normal for them. Was there a lot of people in Walmart?
No, it was just pretty much dead. Like when at least in the back, like the day the blizzard happened, I think it was like 76 or 86 people called out for a while.
Damn.
Yeah, and that's
crazy.
Half the morning people. So yeah, it was definitely a sight to see. There was just nobody there. We had nothing to do, so we just basically just sat there and got paid to do nothing, which was pretty cool. But yeah, days leading after that, things started to pick up because people, had to get their stuff and such. So yeah, but no, it was definitely crazy to see. Definitely because of this climate change that's happening. And I feel like it happens so slowly that people don't take it seriously. You know what I mean? Like we live our days day to day, and I feel like after a while, it's just the average temperature increases by a degree. You don't really notice it, you know what I mean? And that just keeps escalating until it gets to like almost threshold where it just pours over. And that's where we start noticing like side effects and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I remember back in 2016, 17, if a whole bunch of postings that if we don't fix our things by the such and such year, the world's just ending. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As a
Like
kid,
the
that really
ozone
scared
layer
me.
and
You know?
shit. Yeah.
I don't know if you see anything like that when you're
I
back in the
remember,
day.
yeah, back
Yeah.
like 2016 and shit like that. It's just crazy climate change. I mean, with the certain animals going extinct and stuff, a lot of the wildfires,
Mm-hmm.
like the wildfires down in South America, those were partially started by people, though.
Well, I think that is.
Well, they were burning bush for farmland.
Oh, okay.
So that they could, so because that can fertilize the land,
Mm-hmm.
all the ash and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and then the plants aren't there, but it was dry, and then fire spread, everything caught up, turned into a whole entire like blaze. Man, it was terrible for all the animals and stuff like that. But overall, I feel like climate change is pretty terrible, and I think it's kind of horrendous that people don't take it serious.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People just sit there and like won't even believe in it, even though it's right in front of us. Like, have you noticed the past like 4 or 5 years how it hasn't really snowed compared to how it used to snow when we were like little kids?
Mm-hmm. And you also notice that like media just hasn't covered it in like the past couple of years as much as they used to. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
like I said back in like 2018, 2019, it was just everywhere. You know what I mean? You couldn't
yeah,
go nowhere without someone mentioning climate change. How if we don't stop it now, you know what I mean? Something bad could happen. And COVID
yeah.
hit, and then like almost like you just vanished off the face of the earth. Like
Hmm.
no one just started caring about it. It was kind of crazy to see. But maybe that was just like my For You and what the algorithm pandered towards me, I guess. But I feel like just that happened worldwide. Just kind of moved away from the focus of climate change, which is
Yeah.
definitely interesting to see.
But I think they moved away from it on purpose.
Mm.
They don't want people like looking at that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They want people to like invest money into the system. They don't want to like not cross the system. You know
Yeah,
what
I
I'm
get it.
saying? They can make money off of climate change, especially posting about it on the news. All that revenue comes in from people watching it.
Yeah.
But then if bad stuff actually starts to happen, people might not invest in certain companies that are doing bad things for the environment.
Mm-hmm.
Like oil companies and stuff like that. So there's a certain point to where they can't really post about it anymore.
Yeah.
Because then if people stop investing in like certain companies, then those companies are going to be losing money, and those people don't like losing money.
Yeah, that's the thing I never really understood, right? Like our resources are so finite. Like one day we're just gonna run out of oil 'cause we used it all. You know what I mean? Unless we find like another way to synthesize it or produce it an unnatural way. You know what I mean? So eventually we're all gonna have to start using electrical appliances, electric cars, all that. It's just inevitable to happen. Whether we care about the environment or not, we're gonna burn up our resource, and that's gonna be the only resource we have to use because it's just pure
Yeah.
energy, basically. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it's just not that I necessarily like electric cars, but it's just if we could speed that process up, I think it'd just be better for the environment in general. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That or like find a way to seriously cut down on how much greenhouse gases we produce, like
Yeah.
CO2, all that good stuff. Like, or mass produce the natural stuff, like the natural remedies, I guess, that we have that the world produces to fight against that. You know what I mean? Like trees. I know there was a big one that lived in the ocean that like just consumes all the CO2. Forget what it was called, but it's almost like a parasite that just lives basically off CO2.
Algae,
It's not algae. It's like it's I don't know,
plankton.
some like small bug. I could be talking out my ass right now. I don't really remember it too clearly. But but if we could do something like that, you know what I mean? Just like double our natural resources if we could. Anything to really just cut back on these greenhouse gases. 'Cause that's really just our problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's keeping all this heat the sun produces just in our little atmosphere and just change shit up.
Yeah.
But there's also been like theories that just it's the natural progression of life. Like there's been hotter periods in time, colder periods in time. You know what I mean? It might just be one of those times when we uh, don't have any control over it. That's one of the leading arguments against climate change. Actually, that's just it happens every now and then. You know what I mean? The world heats up, it
Yeah.
cools down, ice age. All that good stuff. Which, to some degree, I feel like that lends it some sort of credit because there where I think it was in the North Pole or somewhere up north where the ice has been melting a lot. There's been civilizations discovered just under the ice. So I don't know what that could mean, but maybe it's happened before. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Now we're getting into some deep stuff. But
Some conspiracy, yes.
so I guess like go backwards to just the beginning of this. Climate change at the moment right now, we know that we're kind of like I do think that the Earth is naturally heating up, but it's not naturally heating up at any like quick of a rate to where we should be noticing it.
Yeah.
But a couple of the main problems are the amount of methane we're producing, mainly methane, and it comes from cow farts. Okay, apparently it comes from cow farts.
Yeah.
I'll get into that. The second thing is the toxins that are in like the factories like that make plastics and oil and all that crap, you know what I'm saying? They release toxins. That's the main problem. The carbon dioxide isn't necessarily an issue. The carbon dioxide isn't what's like really contributing to climate change.
Yeah.
It's more so the methane gas. And the Earth heating up isn't necessarily the huge issue. Now, that is a problem. You're going to get more vicious storms, like we've been seeing, more whack weather.
Yeah, like them hurricanes back to back.
Yeah.
What was it, last year? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Insane.
Hurricanes back to back, like that fucking crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? It's more so the issue of the toxins eating away at the ozone layer.
Yeah.
Now, this like is probably not going to happen. Hope to God. But like, if toxins be like ripping away at the ozone layer and the ozone layer goes bye-bye,
we're just cooked, literally.
Yeah, like you're literally going to get cooked by the solar wind.
Yeah, no protection from the solar winds, radiation.
Yeah. But I don't think that's a problem. I don't think that's going to happen. But if the Earth does heat up, if we don't stop our methane gas problem, if the Earth does heat up, we'll be expecting some crazy weather, a lot more hurricanes, a lot more tornadoes, potential crazy blizzard, potential no snow the whole entire winter.
Yeah, because like climate change doesn't just mean like the world's heating up. You know what I mean? It means erratical weather patterns
as well. Yeah,
there's storms, hot or cold, just everywhere in places they shouldn't be.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like fucking 8 inches of snow in Delaware.
Yeah,
but it's yeah.
We'll give you an example. The Sahara Desert, right? It used to be a rainforest around 8,000 years ago.
Yeah.
But the weather changed in such a way that now it doesn't get any rain. So it's turned into a desert. So areas could turn to deserts. Deserts could turn to, prosperous jungles and grasslands, just through climate change.
Exactly.
And we're kind of boosting that, But to get to more towards the, I guess you could say the conspiratorial side of things. The civilizations get discovered. Civilization get discovered in Antarctica or the North Pole. I'm not sure. I haven't read up on that too much. I don't know about that.
Like I said, I've only seen a couple things in passing. They could not be real. I could have been lied to or something like that. Yeah. But if it is true, it just makes you wonder, like, maybe similar events allowed it to happen a couple 100,000 years or so ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just to allow people to civilize there and just make towns and stuff, and then it got frozen over time.
Yeah.
I just thought it was interesting to see, you know what I mean? Like, what else could be just under all that ice, Which I'm not saying we should go melt it. That's just like something you shouldn't fuck with, but it really makes you think,
Yeah.
Like, there's just so much that just on our own planet that we don't have to discover, that just we haven't discovered,
Yeah.
And I feel like climate change, that's bringing it more to our attention because we're seeing more irregular weather patterns, stuff's being discovered, oceans are rising, just a whole bunch of shit's just going on. And it's a late, like, uncovering just a whole bunch of new stuff about how our weather just interacts with the environment, how the environment reacts with the environment, I guess, It's bringing out a whole bunch of shit.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Especially since humans, for just in this lifetime of the planet, just haven't been around for that long,
Yeah.
So, especially just recorded history too. Like, you gotta think about all the hundreds of years before we started recording our dates and stuff. We're just primates.
It is kind of crazy to think about how long we've been on this planet, how long time really is, man. Think about that. Billions of years.
Like, we're just, even our lives right now are just blimps in the greater scheme of things,
But it doesn't feel like a blimp, like.
It's because it's all we know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard to comprehend that, like, after our life, that's pretty much all we'll know, unless there's an afterlife and we can observe from there.
Yeah.
But, you know what I mean? It's just, this life we're given is all we'll ever know, and all for us, at least, all there will be.
Yeah.
And just to try and comprehend that there's other things before and after us. You know what I mean? It's a hard thing to swallow, hard pill to swallow.
Amen. I like that, man.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Mhm.
Thinking about that, our life and being human in this world, worrying about stupid shit, like jobs and stuff like that. One day we're gonna die. It's just insane.
It really is, man.
But that's when living your dream comes into it.
Hmm.
Doing what you want to do in life as a human being, doing what makes you happy, not just surviving.
Yeah.
You're living. You're being what you want to be in life.
Gotta use your time wisely, man, because all you're ever gonna get, all you're ever gonna experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people just don't live with that. They get caught up in the little things, like, oh, what she say about me or what he say about me. You know,
Yeah.
like drama. Drama is just so unnecessary.
Just fucking bullshit.
Like, if we could just get rid of drama on a large scale, obviously that wouldn't be good in other ways, but just come together as a society,
Yeah.
fight climate change, try and make the world better, a more environmentally friendly place just to be. Like, I want so bad to just be able to coexist with nature so much better than we are now. You know what I mean? Get out of these dystopian cities. Get out of these dystopian cities where there's fucking trash everywhere in alleyways on the streets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just involve nature in it more. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it'd be so cool to see, like, just greenery everywhere. You know what I mean? I feel like the air would be fresher. You want to see these big ass factories pumping smokes. Like, you ever see that going down the road or something on the
Yeah.
highway? Just a factory right there, just pumping smoke and waste. It's disheartening to see, I guess.
Well, I feel like that comes into like doing some more research on how we could utilize the environment to our advantage.
Mhm.
Like the power from the sun, from the ground. You know what I mean? Stuff like that, like copper, like
Yeah.
copper wires. Or like I put copper wires in my garden,
Mhm.
draws in electricity. It helps the microbes in the soil, helps grow plants.
Really?
Yeah, like you can kind of power stuff with copper wire because it pulls in electricity. It's pretty whack.
That's cool.
I don't know how it really affects stuff, but like it's pretty crazy. But I feel like the average person can do something good for the environment just by growing some plants in their house.
Yeah.
Like if you live in an apartment, you can grow some excuse me, there's a smaller type of cucumber plant.
Mhm.
You can grow that in there, tomato plants.
Yeah. I really just normalize, like, home gardening. Because
Exactly.
even if you don't feel like you're doing anything, you know what I mean? At least you're growing fresh food for yourself at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And going back to that, like, just bettering the world. Have you heard of, like, type 1, type 2, and type 3 civilization?
Yeah, I heard of them. Yeah.
Yeah, like, type 1 is just, like, fully utilizing the planet's natural energy, and living aside, like, along with it, you know what I mean? And that's just, like, where we need to go. So I feel like just what we need to achieve. If we can fully sustain ourselves without worry, just with our planet's resources, then we can start worrying about, like, other problems, like space and shit. But I feel like at this point in my life, that's just, like, years beyond my life, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
To me, it probably could be attained. Like, I plan to live to at least 100, you know what I mean? That's my goal. I want to live to 100, so I feel like in 100 years, some shit can happen.
Yeah.
Especially just, like, with how fast information is progressing.
Yeah. We got to think in 100 years, you'll be 119.
Yeah, right now. But I want to live to 100, so I'm like, what?
81 years?
81 years away from that.
Holy fucking shit. That's a long
That's a
time.
long ass
Oh
time.
my God, dude.
That's almost 8 decades.
Imagine that shit. I wonder what the future holds for us. I hope like by people just doing the next right thing, like the average Joe just picking up trash on the side of the road instead of leaving it, instead of littering, they keep the trash in their car and they throw it away or pick it up, whatever's on the side of the road, planting, gardening at their house. I hope that within, 81 years from now, the planet is safe and nice. Like, you ever see Italy?
I haven't seen it. Oh, I know. I've seen pictures of Italy, obviously.
They be using a lot of public transportation. They just be whipping around on these little, like, Vespa things.
A lot of older cities do, too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, especially, like, major cities, like, popularly dense cities. Like, so I've seen a whole bunch of stuff, like, from, like, Tokyo, but, like, their subway station, just because there's just so many people there, it's just more efficient to use that stuff, you know what I mean? And I feel like with Italy and stuff, it's just also the conclusion they came by. Because
Yeah.
what's the point of like just having your own car when everybody can just use a bus and get to where the same place, you know?
Yeah. That's good for the environment because you got to think one vehicle doing all the work rather than a bunch of vehicles.
Exactly. It's better for the environment, no traffic.
Especially with electric, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
The only problem with the electric stuff is the batteries.
Yeah.
The what's used inside of them.
Yeah, because they just produce a lot of waste too.
Yeah.
Especially if they're disposed of it like improperly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Especially the I forget what they're called. Lithium batteries, I think.
Yeah.
Terrible. Not good. But am I bleeding?
Now you got a little red thing in there, but that's it.
Alright, yeah, it's pimple on my fucking neck. Terrible. But like that's why I think water powered cars are where it's at. I know this is like coming out of nowhere, but Elon Musk has got a design, right?
Yeah.
It's not like a hydrogen powered car. It's not a car that separates the hydrogen and the oxygen and it burns the hydrogen as fuel. No.
Mm-hmm.
This car goes in there, breaks it down to the atom, and takes out the electrons.
That's crazy to hear.
And the electrons power the car, and it's an electric car. And the water is like the battery. And it uses an initial battery, like an initial power to start that.
Everything
which would be electric. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But still, that's absolutely nuts. And that would be, I feel like, the most, because you got to think you're not putting in as much lithium to make as big of a battery because you're only using the battery to start the vehicle.
Yeah.
Just like you would for a, like a gas car.
Mm-hmm.
And then what the gas is water, and, water vapor is the exhaust. And that's the only thing that's being exhausted is the water vapor. So it's good for the environment. You know what I'm saying? It only uses water as fuel. The fuel goes back up in the air. Everything's nice. No problems.
Yeah.
Boom, bang, pow. Real simple. Water power car. Come on now.
I can't wrap my head around it. Just like a combustion engine compared to that, it's just entirely, it's a whole nother ballpark, man. Like, at least with the combustion engine, it makes sense. You know what I mean? You light something, you light your fuel, it's a little explosion, makes the thing turn. That's pretty much a very dumbed down process of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But with that, you're tearing atoms apart. You're getting electrons for electricity. That's insane. And with that method, I guess really anything can be used as fuel. You know what I mean? If you're just tearing atoms apart, but I feel like that'd be hard to mass produce and stay controlled, especially inside of a moving vehicle. Like, I don't know. I feel like something about that just has to explode.
Nah, I think it'd be good. Think about like a combustion engine. Combustion engine has little explosions going on inside of it, and they're gas in that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, that shit should explode. I mean, they do explode.
Yeah.
But, like, as long as we make it safe, I mean, we're pretty smart creatures.
Mm.
And I feel like that's just a part of, our civilization growing and being able to use all the elements that we have around us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, back onto the methane thing.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Factory farms, right? They feed these animals, right? A bunch of soy, right? A bunch of soy, corn, and like wheat, barley.
Fatten them up pretty much, right?
Yeah, fatten them up, right? You see all these soybean farms around here,
Mm.
all the wheat farms, soybean farms, right? All that soybean shit is being put into the nasty ass ultra preserved food that you get at your local Giant, and into the stomachs of factory farm raised animals. Now chickens, it's really hard to pasture raise a chicken for meat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got to put them in those little cages and then drag them around. That's expensive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to raise them up very quickly, and it's like hard to make profit from that.
Yeah.
So most of your pasture raised chicken stuff is eggs. You know what I'm saying? But so most of your chickens, just because, they need to be factory farm raised. But most of your cows and pigs don't necessarily need to be factory farm raised, but they are. And all that, like from them eating that food,
Mm-hmm.
they have unnatural amounts of methane in their poop.
Mm.
I'm getting this information from my teacher that I had last year. So this might not be, 100%.
I mean, I've also seen like people like poking holes in their stomachs where all the gas is built up and just like lighting on fire as it comes out. I don't know if you've seen those videos, but it's crazy shit, man.
Yeah, and it's from the reason they have a buildup of gas is because they're eating food they're not supposed to be eating.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's producing unwanted reactions within their body.
Yeah. The pellets are all pretty much the same. Now, most factory farm raised cows, they do sometimes get straw and hay, which is, pretty good. They need that in their diet. But like they also need actual grass. They're ruminators. They eat a bunch of grass and stuff. And then pigs, they're omnivores. They're rooters. They root through the ground. They literally eat the dirt. They eat the roots of the plant. They eat the insects.
Yeah.
They're omnivores, so they'll also eat carcasses, fruit, nuts. They eat everything. The only thing they're eating, these pellets. Same thing with chickens. Chickens are omnivores. They eat everything. The only thing they get are these pellets. Cows are ruminators. They eat grass. They eat this. They eat that, right? But all they're getting is these pellets. All that's in these pellets is these like soy, straw. They're not straw, but soy, wheat, barley. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Stuff nasty shit, corn. That they shouldn't really be eating every single day. And now they have this buildup of methane gas. It's good for the fertilizer. The fertilizer you get from these animals is amazing.
Yeah.
They sell it for so much. You know what I'm saying? But the buildup, this methane is going into the environment. You know what I'm saying? Into the air, and it's messing everything up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like tearing everything up. It's tearing not necessarily the ozone layer up, but it's making things hot.
Yeah.
Okay. So
chaff and heat.
Exactly. So a lot of these farms, right, that are feeding these animals, and also feeding the bullshit fucking food industry, right? A lot like these soybean farms, they're making money. The families are living good, but instead, what would be good for the environment would be switching these farms out for pasture raised, or it's pasture raised for cows and like sheep and stuff like that, and chickens. You raise them on pasture fields. Pigs are raised in like woodsy areas. I think it's like a pasture. I'm not sure what you call it, but they're like if you're gonna raise pigs like naturally, you have to raise them in like a woodsy area.
Yeah.
Because they're omnivores, eat everything. Right? They root too, like and like roots.
Yeah.
Like tree roots and shit like that. So they need like a woodsy area to live. But like if you were to just transfer all these farms like that are for soy into these different types of animal farms, it would save so much. There'd be less methane in the environment, right? And people would be eating real healthy food because their cow isn't going to be saturated with fucking bullshit soy.
Yeah.
It's going to be like what the cow's supposed to be eating its whole life, which is grass.
And I feel like the main reason that's not as popular as it is because I feel like if we do it that way, not so many people get a pay cut. You know what I mean? Like with the soybean farm gets a pay cut. Transfer guy gets a pay cut. You know what I mean? The guy who bought the soy, he gets a pay cut because he's making money off the cows. You know what I mean? So there's more people involved with that. So if you cut one from it, you know what I mean? 2 more people are going to know. 1 more person's going to be pretty much happy because you cut the guy who's farming the soy, and then you got cutting the guy who delivers the soy. Pretty much. That's how I'm looking at it. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's the main reason because less people will be more people will be out of jobs, and there'd be less need for certain type of farmers, which will put people out of jobs. You know what I mean? At least that's how I think it would happen. I think that's the main reason why it's not as popular. That is probably just cheaper, too.
It is cheaper. Like, you're right about that.
Yeah. And it sucks because that's like the main motivator behind everything, right? Just money. Is it cheaper to do this? Is it cheaper to do that? Is it worth doing this? Just pay cuts everywhere. And it sucks because at the end of the day, money nowadays just means nothing, pretty much. It doesn't have value outside what it is.
Well, it holds so much worthless value. Like people look at it and value it so much, but in all reality, it's just paper that can grant you certain things.
Exactly. It's pretty much a permission slip.
Exactly. It's a permission slip to get something. It's like, have you worked hard enough to earn this to then get this?
And it sucks because it used to be just gold. It used to be like worth its weight in gold, literally. But inflation got so high to where it's just like people just look at $1 and it's just like, it's $1.
Yeah.
They don't look at it as literal gold anymore. You know, it loses its value.
Yeah, it's value.
At least in my eyes. That's why I'm not too bothered to save or spend it as much. I just use it as a resource pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of having this dollar if I'm not going to use it type shit? So I invest my money, you know what I mean? I buy things with my money, things that I could actually have value in. The mic, the laptop, stuff that I could place more value in than just money. Because in my eyes, if this laptop serves me like 2 years, you know what I mean? $708. I mean, it's not 700, $280 just
For 2 years,
yeah.
right? Of service, yeah.
This could make me money one day. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
It's doing something for us right now, recording the audio for the podcast.
exactly. It's just I get so much value out of it. Something so not valueless, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just always found it weird. Never really been too much of a fan of money. Never had too much of a connection to it outside of that fact that you need it nowadays.
Well, I've heard there's a little story. Alan Watts talks about it.
Mhm.
Alan Watts is a pretty cool guy. I suggest that anyone who's watching this podcast should check out Alan Watts. He's dead now, but talks some deep shit.
Yeah.
But wealth, right? Now, my uncle's definition of wealth is someone who's rich generationally. They're generationally wealthy. They're generationally rich. They have so much money that their kids have money and that their kids' kids have money.
And that's true wealthiness, right? To him, at least.
Yeah, right. That's his definition of it, right? Now, Alan Watts, in his little story of wealth, his definition, right, is this, right? So you're walking through the grocery store, right? You go up and you're paying for your shit, and you're like, oh shit, I owe $200 on all this food,
Yeah.
right? You don't realize that $200 is going into $200 worth of food. The wealth is the food in the cart,
Yeah.
not the
Something
money.
that you can use.
Exactly. Something that you can eat, that you need to live. The money, like you said, is nothing. It's the food in the cart that is the wealth.
Yeah.
That is what it's worth right there, the food in the cart.
Exactly. And to kind of give an example, I mean, like any apocalyptic movie, The Walking Dead, you know what I mean? A series. No one goes around searching for money. Do they have an extra dollar? So it's food and water. They just cut the middleman out. You know what I mean? They cut the bargaining chip. That's all money is a bargaining chip. It replaced trading pretty much.
Yeah.
It gave us a universal method of trade that everybody could accept. You know what I mean? Like, especially for people who didn't have a job or something they could produce another source of income from. But he gave it a use for that. You know what I mean? And just to go on about money, people who are obsessed by it, people who would hurt somebody over it. You know what I mean? That I also truly never got. Like, what worth do you get from hurting somebody just for something that's
Like
worthless?
a hitman?
Hitman, you know, the mafia, anything, any robbing bank, anything that just you have to actively harm another person to obtain money. You know what I mean?
Well, I feel like, say if you're living in a harsh society, right? Third world country level society, right?
Yeah.
Or even the slums of the fucking United States of America,
It can get pretty bad.
right? So you need to rob a motherfucker to survive because you ain't got no food. Your daughter's hungry as shit.
Mm-hmm.
Your wife's hungry as shit. You ain't got a job because your ass is a bum. So you go out and you go rob a motherfucker for some money.
Yeah.
Boom, bang, pow. You got money. You don't got to work for 8 hours. You got $100.
But all that is a temporary solution. That's my problem. Like, that runs out. Then you have to do it again. And you have to risk getting caught. And once you get caught, who can provide for your daughter?
Exactly.
So, like,
Terrible cycle.
exactly. It's just,
That's why people think it's okay because they're like in survival mode. They're not living.
yeah.
They're not living. They're in survival mode. They're like, that's all they're in is in survival, going from paycheck to paycheck. And if they don't have a paycheck, they're going from person to person, selling this, selling that,
Yeah.
cutting this person's lawn, collecting that scrap and selling that scrapyard, flipping ends, just making ends meet.
Exactly. I'm not claiming like what I'm talking about. It's just easy to overcome. Like, just fucking tough it up. It's not like that.
Yeah.
I've been in a position to where that obviously that's just not the case. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just one of those hard questions to answer, I guess.
Yeah.
Something that unless we come together as a society and try to actively help each other out with, it's just not gonna get solved. Because why would I stick my neck out for another person? You know what I mean? When it could make me vulnerable.
Vulnerable?
Vulnerable.
Nah, I feel like I feel like what helps society though is joking around.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, I know this is a little off topic, but it makes sense because I just made like a little joke there, and it
Yeah.
kind of brought my mind to it. But with how negative how negative society's been, with how negative people are, money
Mm-hmm.
affecting people, making them greedy, the environment going downhill. I feel like in the midst of all this, we need to still be positive.
100%.
You know,
Yeah, dark humor, it's been around for the longest time, making light of a dark situation. You know what I
exactly.
mean?
Yeah.
Acknowledging it, but also just at the end of the day, we're all human. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're all gonna make mistakes. We're all gonna fuck up. It's just, it's what happens. Can't control it. So just being able to make fun of that, you know what I mean? Being able to acknowledge it in a positive light, like, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just, it raises morale to so much. Just joking around, laughing, just laughing. You ever force yourself to laugh and then start genuinely laughing? It's like,
Well, I think I've been in that
not
position maybe.
not like into like a crazy person who's like you know what I mean? Just like, it would just, I don't know how to explain it, but like, you just start laughing and then it turns into genuine laughter and you just can't stop laughing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like maybe you chalk it out a joke and it just snowballs.
Yeah, and then you start
Yeah.
laughing even more
Yeah,
and
like
more.
your boy just makes a stupid ass joke. You're like, okay. Then someone else says some shit, and it just
Then
starts.
it starts getting
You know what I mean? It's just,
I've been there. Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy how that works. But humor, just, I don't know what. It's maybe some chemical in our brains that just makes it work. But yeah,
I feel like that's a part of making society better though, is staying positive, man.
well,
Keeping the positive vibes, you know what I'm saying? Being happy about what you got to do in life. That's why if you're gonna get a 9 to 5, it better be an enjoyable 9 to 5. Like if you're gonna commit, like I don't mean as in like just getting a 9 to 5 because you need to work for the next 2 years to earn some money for this, that, and fourth.
yeah,
If you're gonna get a 9 to 5 that you're gonna be working there for 40 years and you're gonna get a retirement from that job, you got to enjoy it.
100%.
You got to really enjoy it. You know what I'm saying?
If you don't, if you don't enjoy, at least have a goal out of it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, and I feel like people just get lost in that. Get lost. They lose their goal. They lose why they stay at the job, and it just becomes routine for them. And that's where a lot of depression comes from. I feel like, turning something that was originally a goal, something that was supposed to make you happy, into something that it's just routine.
Yeah.
So where a lot of depression comes from, just subverts a lot of our feelings, I guess.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm tired.
Nah, it's understandable. I'm pretty tired as well.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I know I've said that a lot, but the contradiction in society right now between negative and positive, right?
Yeah.
I see a lot of positive in society. There's a lot of positive that goes on. People have individual lives. Everyone has their own individual life. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them do positive things. A lot of them go to the gym. A lot of them go have a sports team that they go to on Sundays. They play golf with their friends. Whatever.
Yeah.
They got these little things that they do that are positive. You know what I'm saying? That bring positivity to them and the people that they're with, the people that they do these things with.
Mm-hmm.
But I also notice how sometimes people are outrightly negative to each other. You know what I mean? They just give off negative energy to each other, especially in school.
Yeah.
There's a constant fight between negative and positive. And when you look at it from an objective point of view, really just from the outside looking in, it almost seems as if there's a little bit more negative right now in the world. But that's when you got to look in and you got to have faith. You know what I'm saying? Like, saying that kind of scares me, because.
Well, you got to kind of look like this. Like, it's always going to be easier to choose the worst path. You know what I mean? Like, just being able to, I don't know. It's always easier to spread negativity than to spread positivity. You know what I mean? Like, jokes can fall flat, and that's a lot. It's a lot harder to land a good joke than to just like call someone an asshole. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I feel that's the reason why there can seem like there's a lot more negativity, because it's something that's more easily fallen into. You know what I mean? Like, if you're in a bad situation, it's a lot easier to say, shit, I can't do nothing about this, so I'm just be sad in the fucking corner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then just be like, you know what? I'm gonna change this. I'm gonna do something about it.
Yeah.
It takes a certain amount of strength to be positive, and a lot of people nowadays, I feel like just don't have that strength. If that
Mm.
makes sense.
Why is that, you think?
I don't know, mentality, lack of purpose, all stuff we've talked about before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Things that just stem from other things that multiply through social media, multiply through what you see comparing yourself to others. It just it can make a person feel small and not want to be big, if that makes sense.
Mm.
That's the best way I can put it. You know what I mean? I feel like, and just to put it in more of a grander scheme of things, just war. You know what I mean? Violence. It's a lot easier to take something forcefully and try to negotiate about it. You know what I mean? Come to a mutual understanding, especially when there's barriers involved like language, all that good stuff. But that's just in a broader sense, just to
Yeah.
kind of scale things up.
I see exactly what you're saying, though.
Hmm.
How it's just so much easier to spread than positivity is.
Yeah,
Yeah. But I feel like, how do you make the spread of positivity easier?
that's a hard question to answer, really. I think we just all have to find our own way of doing it. You know what I mean? Like helping out where you feel like helping out where you feel you need to. Like some people could go to, a soup kitchen, help out, hand out food. You know what I mean? Some people can provide a place to sleep. Some people can just go around making jokes. Some people could sing or just create music. Some people create art. There's just a whole plethora of ways to spread positivity. And I feel like it all has to do with your mentality. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, yeah, I want to help people. How do I want to help them? Because anybody can give a homeless man $5, but not everybody can, like, I don't know, make a gourmet meal for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we all have to find our own way to help other people, or
Like
find,
genuinely help other
yeah,
people.
genuinely help them in a way that we feel is spreading that positivity. Because even if, like, some people might not see it as like, oh, I'm helping you, just the fact that you think you are is gonna kind of metaphysically translate to them. Like, you ever been given a gift that you don't like so much, but the fact that they got it for you, it's just like,
That
damn,
makes you happy.
yeah, because
Yeah.
like they thought of me like that. I feel like
Yeah.
it's kind of like that, you know, and that's how positivity works. It's not necessarily a medium through which you transfer it. It's just that the fact that we're actively trying to transfer it, that it just gets across.
Mm.
Like if someone means good, you're gonna feel it. If someone means bad, you're also gonna feel it. I feel like that's just in a way we're all connected.
I agree with that. I do think we're all connected through positivity, through love. You know what I'm saying?
Something we just all have a mutual understanding of.
And I feel like there's a reason why it's harder to spread the negativity.
Hmm.
Because I feel like I don't know how to describe this, but I feel like that it needs something to thrive on. Like it needs not necessarily for negativity to be bigger than it, but to be there.
So for like some like hope maybe.
No, like you can't have positivity without negativity,
Hmm.
right? You
Yeah,
can't have white without black, and you can't have space without matter.
you can't have something without nothing. You
Exactly.
gotta know what one thing is to have the other.
Exactly. And I feel like that the reason why so much negativity is going on in this world is because people don't realize what they have that is positive.
Mm-hmm.
So the world is teaching them a lesson by being negative. But by them not realizing what they have and by being so wasteful,
Mm-hmm.
by littering, by destroying the environment, by being negative to others around them, they are also contributing to the world becoming negative. They are making the world negative, and therefore they are teaching themselves a lesson on being positive because they're going to eventually realize from everything being so negative around them, they're going to eventually wake up and realize that they need to be grateful for what they have and be a proper human being.
So do you feel like with everything that's going on around us, climate change, you know, fucking social media, everything, there's just everything bad. It's almost like a trial that we just have to get by, you know?
Yeah.
You feel like that's maybe a possibility that even just to like a higher power is just placing a trial on us, or humanity placing a trial on itself, see if we can get by it.
I think that's 100% a possibility.
Hmm.
I totally believe in like some type of supernatural crazy stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like there might be a trial from something on the other side. or like you said, it might be a trial from ourselves. I kind of believe that. I believe that like deep down we are all connected. We are all kind of almost one consciousness separated into a bunch of different beings.
Yeah.
Like I think that like potentially if string theory is possible, then if string theory is possible, there's 12 dimensions, right?
Mm.
And I think that there's a version of us on each dimension. But as that version gets higher and higher, it becomes more and more united. Like for instance, you got like a person, right? And then you got like an Aquarius.
Yeah.
Everyone born in that month or that time period is an Aquarius, right? Like it'll go like, and the say we're the 12th dimension, right? Say we're like the lowest dimension form, right?
Yeah.
Or say we're the third dimension because that's actually what we are, out of 12 dimensions, right?
Mm.
So like there is like a even more versions of us in like the second dimension and the first dimension.
Yeah.
But like the third dimension, there's us, and then there's people that are like us in this dimension that are similar to us, kind of united together.
Yeah.
Into like I guess you could say a soul or a higher power here, and it keeps going until it's just one higher power in the highest dimension.
So kind of like each dimension you go down, it splits up like. Okay, that's an interesting theory.
I don't know, but that's just some shit I
Almost
thought
like a
about.
hierarchy of dimensions. You know what I mean? At the very top, there's one I don't even say a conscious thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
There's a
one
thing,
being.
and then just go as it goes down. You know what I mean? It's just yeah. I feel like that would be more like the first dimension. If that makes sense. Like there's one, then there's two, then there's three, then there's four. You know what I mean? It just keeps going to 12.
Yeah.
I don't know how that would work though.
Yeah, I don't know how that would work either, but that's just some thought I had.
Yeah, I got you. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
But yeah, I feel like we need to have that positivity, or we need to have that negativity to show us the positivity, and we need to be doing more positive actions now.
That kind of reminds me of going back to your theory. That kind of I forget what it's called, the peanut theory or something. Anyway, it's a theory that like we all are one. You know what I mean? And every time you die, you live another person's life. You know what I mean? And you keep doing that until you have been everyone that could have lived, you know what I mean, or will live. Everyone there will live. Everyone there was to live, you know what I mean. Everything, pretty much, you live every experience, and after that, you ascend to like something else. I forget the name of the theory. I've seen a video on it.
So you would just be like me,
Yeah, like
from a different time or some shit.
No. So it'd be like I will live my life. Then let's say when I die, I would be you, live your life. I would die, be someone else, live their life, and you would do that for every person who will ever live and who has ever lived. Yeah. And
going back to like being a monkey and shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
Pretty much, you will live every experience.
That's crazy.
I forget the name of the theory, but that was a pretty big one.
You could experience everything.
Experience everything.
Like being a bacteria, being like an atom, a rock, a dolphin, a human, a worm.
That'd be crazy. If that's the case, I'm glad we don't remember any of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a lot of lives to have lived. Maybe we're just like, maybe that's why we all feel connected. Come back to what you said, you know, we're just all one being, experience the same thing, interacting with ourselves.
Yeah, that's like the universe interacting with itself.
Yeah.
I believe that. Alan Watts talks about that. Speaking of Alan Watts, man, he talks about the universe. Like, he says the reason that you can't like necessarily see God is because that would be like you trying to scratch your own fingernail.
What do you mean?
Because you are God.
Oh, I got you.
So it'd be like the reason that you can't like perceive God as a separate entity is because it'd be like trying to scratch your own fingernail.
It's like trying to see yourself without a mirror.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's actually,
Well, I don't know exactly how the saying goes, but it's like along them lines.
Yeah, I got you. How can you look for something when you are that something?
Exactly.
Yeah. That's interesting. How can you look for a flashlight with a flashlight?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah. I never heard that before. That's good.
Come to the podcast, you get some bangers.
Quotes.
Yeah, some nice quotes in.
We got to get more people on here, man. I feel like
the next episode we'll bring Rory on.
I bet.
The
It's
motherfucking rip off Will Smith himself.
curious to meet this guy.
Yeah, he's fucking cool as shit.
Well, think we'll end it there for the night.
Yeah, I feel like that's a wrap.
Yeah.
'Cause this song got deep.
For real, we're just talking about climate change. That's all we came to this, by the way. Like, we just come in here with like one topic and just branch off from that. Not very professional, but it's what we do.
Yeah. We're getting something slowly but surely. We're fixing it up. We're working the quirks out. We're getting
building
done.
stuff up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just gotta be patient. I mean, we're in our infant stages right now, so
Yeah.
definitely build it up. But yeah. I guess thank you for watching, thank you for listening.
And that'll be the end of episode 3 of the Catatonic podcast.
All right, have a good one.
Have a good one.